You wake up to the sounds of trees being cut down. You look outside and see all of the ash trees gone. What happened here? This is due to one destructive species and is considered invasive to North America's ecosystem called the Agrilius planipennis, or more commonly known as the emerald ash borer. How did these pests get into our ecosystem? It's simple. These beetles are native to eastern Russia, Japan, Taiwan, Korea, Mongolia, and Japan. Due to the Homo sapien cause, these beetles were presumably introduced into the North American ecosystem in 1990 when wooden packaging materials were unchecked containing the emerald ash borer, then later shipped to Canada. The emerald green color, narrow body, and large black eyes have invaded areas like Ontario, Manitoba, Quebec, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick, and are most prominent in cities like Windsor, Winnipeg, Thunder Bay, Quebec City, and Halifax. The emerald ash borer was first discovered in Windsor and Detroit in 2002, resulting in the spread of 5 other provinces and 30 other states. These beetles are hard to get rid of due to the fact that they are hard to detect and produce at least 100 eggs per female, which approximately 80% of the larvae mature. They can also withstand negative 30 degrees Celsius temperatures and have a lack of predators. Not to mention that they can fly 10 kilometers and are easily spread when transporting wood materials like firewood. But why is this a problem? Emerald ash borers threaten the population of the ash tree species. 100% of the time, ash trees would die in the matter of 2 years once infested. Death is caused by larvae creating paths by eating the layer of the tree under the bark, disrupting the tree's transport system. Thus, the lack of water and nutrients going to the top of the tree, as well as the adults eating the leaves. Already, tens of millions of ash trees have died to this species, and this number keeps on growing to a great extent, where all 8.7 billion ash trees in North America are at risk. Not only does this species risk the population of ash trees, but it also affects the environment as a whole. When the ash tree dies and is removed, it creates biotic and abiotic alterations to the ecosystem like soil erosion, changes in temperature mitigation, solar exposure, changes in the water temperature as well as the microclimate of the forest, risk of another species taking over, and lack of biodiversity of the tree species. These trees were also used as habitats and food for other organisms. In future years, this parasitism relationship between the emerald ash borer and the ash tree will result in deforestation, destruction of habitats, and potential extinction of the ash tree as well as other trees due to the lack of ash wood being harvested. Ash wood is also valuable economically as it is used to make common wooden products, such as doors, boxes, and flooring. But these trees being cut down has also affected the value of property and costs at least $1,000 to remove. Toronto expects to spend $74 million on the crisis, as just removing 14,000 ash trees already cost them $4.2 million. To cope with the crisis, the government put in the regulation of moving wooden materials that could potentially carry the emerald ash borer, the action of removing trees when infested or dead, treating trees with insecticides, and releasing a predator parasitic wasp to make the population of the emerald ash borer decrease. To improve, I think that it can research ways of a more cost and time efficient insecticide compared to the current one being used called triazine that costs at least $100 to $300, taking in that we have a hefty amount of ash trees. As well as, instead of disposing of the dead wood, there should be enforced rules to repurpose the wood and replace the trees with another species. But what can you do in this time of crisis? To reduce the number of trees dying, you can reduce your movement of wood, and you can also monitor your own ash trees and check of signs of holes, eaten leaves, if the tree appears to be wilting with dead branches and dying leaves, and squiggle-shaped tunnels under the bark. If so, contact your region's natural resource and forestry services to get your tree inspected and dealt with. Remember, be aware of the beetle as the spread will be lethal. Thank you.